Okay. So, hope everything's working. This is gonna be my first live stream from Maranga. I want to do some more of these in the future with some other people, but I thought I'd just test it. I'm streaming to my YouTube channel at the moment, and some of the visual settings are a bit lower because I'm also capturing, and I wanted some of the performance. You'll just have to take my word for that. Okay, so this is Maranga. This is the entrance, and this is the place where you start. Those are some particles coming from the top of my head, which are actually quite handy if you're following somebody and they're moving a bit fast. You can easily keep track of them. Okay, let me check this out. So currently I have two kind of avatars or masks you can wear. They're kind of ridiculous, of course, as most of the things in Maranga are. And I'm using the Normcore multiplayer plugin, which is great, and it has built in that the little mouth is moving as you're talking. Yes. Okay, so I have some simple locomotion controls. The teleport you would expect in continuous locomotion, and then you can also do that a little faster. So one of the things you can see when you look up are the round clouds. The real-time shadows they cast, they're actually networked, which means that in a multiplayer setting you're gonna see the same shadows, which was something that Daniel Beauchamp put together for me. He was like, people should be able to, it's such a kind of an experience to be in VR and have like a massive shadow come over you. So this really should be like a moment that you share. Turns out a lot of stuff isn't networked like that. For example, in I'm totally blanking on the name of the game, but this exploration game with these procedural outer worlds, the weather in that game isn't networked. So where for one person it's raining, it's sunny weather for somebody else, which is of course not the best. So here you can buy some snacks. Oops. Oh no. Of course. This is happening now. Okay. Well, I'll have to restart because it got stuck. It really doesn't matter at all, but of course now, because I'm live streaming, it happens. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yes, let me quickly go back to where I was. Place you can buy a little snack. Put a little character in there, but isn't doing much. So if I'd have a lot of money, I'd just put an actor in there. Someone you could actually talk to, which would be great. So here, one of the not too many things you can actually interact with in Maranga. Chess. Real life chess. Or I should say life-sized chess. Can I? Yes. Which is, of course, as you would expect, also networked. Again, something that Daniel Beauchamp helped me do. And he also helped me to implement climbing, which would be a cool thing to show next. So I'm not going to show everything. It would be too much. Just some of the stuff you can interact with. Give you a little idea. And hopefully next time I'll be having a stroll with Daniel and talk about some stuff more in depth. So this structure is climbable. Somebody had tested it out and mentioned that thought it was such a pity that you couldn't climb this thing. So you can. There's one thing that's that I should mention. You can only grab it where you intersect with the geometry. It's because the colliders are not convex, because it's actually a shape that was created with Oculus Medium, and a lot of work and very hard to create good convex colliders for. So that means for this climbable structure, if you try to climb really fast, you might try to hold on from inside of the object, and that doesn't work. So you might fall. We actually made a second climbable structure, which does have convex colliders. It's all the way on the other side. But I'm having some issues trying to optimize its performance. So I think Daniel and I are gonna have to take a look at that. Well, let me try to. I don't. Currently, falling isn't great, of course, especially for those who get motion sick a little quicker, but I want to keep it that way because I kind of think it's nice to have some consequence to falling, if you catch my drift. Okay, well, you can climb all the way up there and maybe inspect that floating city thing. Because it doesn't have convex colliders, I also can't teleport on this area. So you really have to use continuous locomotion or move by grabbing stuff. I'm gonna drop myself down now, which I normally wouldn't recommend, but my brain has gotten a little numb from all the VR. Which is a good thing for me, not a great thing for testing. People have very specific reactions to VR, as most people know. Okay, well, let's keep this form a mystery. I'm gonna go here. Now, your movement is kind of following your head. At some point, I also want to have the possibility where you follow your controller. I think some people prefer that. This is nice. This could do with some ambient sound, maybe some interactive particles. Too many ideas. As I said, I think I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty close to releasing it. What we want to implement is swimming, and I'll show you where. So there's also some very subtle music that I put in Maranga. You should be able to hear it now. So here's the sea, which you can go into. So at this moment you can't swim, but I did put like an obvious arrow where it's a good place to enter the water. City behind that entrance and some other stuff, but also I think we're gonna not show that now. Just gonna jump off this cliff and head towards the ocean. Music slowly fading out, and there are some other areas where you trigger some sound. And here also the audio changes as soon as you get underwater. I feel it really adds to the ambience. But as Daniel mentioned, as soon as he saw this, you don't want to walk here, you really want to swim here. So I'm trying to imagine that. So, little shipwreck here. I think I didn't make a collider here. Oh, I did. Some weird flora. can just remind you of the name. So this is oh, the fish are a little weird. I didn't see them from this angle yet. That's a little bit ridiculous. Anyway, this is a part of, this was like a kind of a first test stream from Maranga. I think I'll do some more in the future. Hopefully with some other folks. Talk about what we're seeing or VR in general. So I just triggered another song when I was over at the big Maranga sign. So I'm just gonna walk back and have that song play.